Hi everyone, this is Jim Pogue, Safety Director for Fermetco, and today's safety talk is about hard hats. The hard hat was invented, my tongue's not working right today, was invented in 1919 by Edward Bullard, and it was made of canvas and leather, and it was made using a process that involves steam. So it was called the hard boiled hat. So that's where the term hard hat comes from. The Golden Gate Bridge was the first structure to require the use of hard hats, and it was mainly used to protect workers from falling bolts and rivets to keep them from suffering head injuries from them. And we've come a long way in the 100 years that hard hats have been around in their design and their construction, even the materials that they're made out of. There's a couple of different types of hard hats. There's the full brim type hard hat, which is type 1, and type 2 is the peaked brim. There are 3 different classifications of hard hat. There's the G, which is general duty hard hat, that will protect workers up to 2200 volts of electrical exposure, as well as the drop protection that the peak has on the top. There's the Class C hard hat, which is for electrical purposes. That protects the workers up to 20,000 volts of exposure. And then you've got the Class C, which is just the bump hat, more or less, is what we called it. It offers very little protection. I've had a number of people over my career ask me about wearing a hard hat backwards, which I don't really understand that, because the brim on a hard hat is protecting your nose from something falling, and unless you're a welder and you're trying to wear a helmet, then you don't really need to reverse your hard hat. But I did once see a letter from a manufacturer that said if you take the interior cage and reverse it so that the adjustment always remains on the back of the head and you put it back into the hard hat, that it does not affect the impact protection that it provided before. However, once again, there's a reason for wearing it that way. I also have encountered people who have said that they prefer the climber type helmet that has no brim so that you can look straight up much easier and not have something obstructing your view when you're climbing. The one problem I have with that is you do give up some of your facial protection from having a brim up there. Bullard Safety actually makes a hard hat called the Above View, which allows you to look straight up through a clear brim that's on the front part of the hard hat. Prefer those much more so over the standard brimless climber hard hat. There are a variety of different things you can get as options that go on a hard hat as well. You can have ear muffs that tie down. You can have chin straps. They make headlamps. They make pencil holders. So there's a variety of things that can be done to customize a hard hat to make it much easier to wear. The thing is that when you require a hard hat based on your job hazard assessment, hard hats have to be worn on that job site. There are also people that have taken and painted hard hats or done some of the graphic applications to them that I've seen on Facebook. And unless it's approved by the manufacturer, you should not do anything like that, because it could affect the ability of the hard hat to absorb the blows that it's designed to blow by weakening it because of the chemicals in either the applicant or the paint that's being used. As far as decals go, OSHA has said within reason, as long as it doesn't affect the ability to inspect the hard hat, that the wearer can have a reasonable amount of decals on their hard hat. My hard hat has ones that show my achievements as a safety professional and some of the different tests that I've completed to get certification. So I'm comfortable with wearing those. But if it was so much so that it affected my ability to inspect the hard hat, I'd have to take them off. So be aware of your safety equipment, protect your head, make sure that you're using the proper type of head protection, and make sure you inspect it frequently. Some people ask questions about expiration dates on hard hats. And what if it sat on a shelf and was never exposed to anything, but the expiration date comes up? The manufacturer always addresses this in the instructions that come with the hard hat, and will let you know if there's a risk or a concern with wearing something past the expiration date. Personally, I think that if it's something that's been on a shelf and there's no exposure and you do an inspection and it looks okay, you should be okay to wear it. But once again, I'm going to default to what the manufacturer says. This is today's Safety Talks. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. The best way is by email, jimpogue@fermetco.com. Have a safe day.